Oh, God.
I don't think we're ready.
No. And I want my popcorn and I want my chocolate, and we're not going to have any time once we get there.
Do they got cherry Coke?
I don't want to miss the trailers.
Ooh.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Finally.
I'm ready to go.
What are you supposed to be?
We're going to see Fast and Furious, right?
No.
Oh.
What is he, Bloodshot, dude?
Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Is it about family?
No.
I don't know.
Does he maybe drink Corona?
Possibly.
Is he Groot?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go live life 1/4 mile at a time and go see Bloodshot. What do you say, Letty?
Oh my God. All right.
Let's do it.
I'm with you all the way, pacifier.
Oh, let's do it. Let's ride to heaven together. Let's ride to heaven together.
Can we Tarzan into the theater with a car?
Whether you like Vin Diesel or not, whether you like Bloodshot, Valiant, whatever, maybe what it is really cool.
It's the Valiant Renaissance, man.
Yeah, well,
It absolutely is.
There's independent comics now that are getting movies more than I guess in the past, right? I mean, obviously the comic book structure to any movie now, we've seen all that Marvel has to do. We've seen what DC is trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to talk about some of our favorite indie comics that have been made into really awesome movies that are underappreciated. And then who do we think deserves a movie in the indie comic world that hasn't gotten one yet?
Bon, what do you like in the indie comic movie world?
Don't say fucking Spawn, motherfucker.
Nothing. At all.
You stole my thunder.
I actually just recently, don't judge me, finally watched the Watchmen series on HBO. And that's going to tie into what I want to see. But yes, I loved it. It was just as meticulous as the graphic novel. And I loved what they approached talking about race. And it was funny because when right before episode 1 aired, I remember thinking, gosh, why is nobody talking about Tulsa? There's so many crazy tragedies.
Were you just thinking about Tulsa literally before watching the episode, or it was just kind of like...
Yeah, in October, I was talking with a friend, and they were like, what events would you like to hear about? And I'm like, nobody talks about Tulsa.
Because no one knew about Tulsa.
Yeah, it's kind of like buried.
Yeah, it didn't even get a national study until Obama's administration. I grew up in Chicago.
Insane.
Never heard of it as a thing, ever.
So the fact that there was a property that was addressing as much about the superhero world and that whole thing, in addition to diving into real American history and going into detail about the effects of that and playing with history and false history versus real history, and a lot of people also thinking that Tulsa was a part of fake history because that's what Watchmen does a little bit. To see that all comes together, it was amazing. And I'd love to see more of it, but I'm gonna save that conversation for later. But yes, Watchmen.
I think the guy, leftovers guy, I can't remember his name.
David Lindelof?
Yeah,
Leftovers guy.
Leftovers guy. I think
Lost Guy.
Yeah, Lost
Guy.
Yeah. Well, 2 fucking shows that really fell off there towards the end. But yeah, they did. But I think he said...
Did you hear that, Damon?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Come on the show, defend yourself. Come on the show,
By the way, Damon's been in this store. He shot his collider videos here.
Oh, crap. Well, sorry.
Pablo's
Get
here to
him.
throw down the bomb.
Get him.
But Watchmen was brilliant, and I think he was saying that he just wanted it to... who knows if HBO is going to be like, this was too good.
No, they just announced that they've rebranded it as a limited series.
Yes.
They're not calling it
just
season 1 at
changed
all.
it.
Yeah, which is great, because you know what? If another brilliant creator comes along and says, I have a story to tell that universe, and here it is, start to finish, do it. If not, don't do it. Watchmen, the TV show, was so brilliant. Just
It was.
great.
Can
And
we
it
all
was
say-
exactly as long as it needed to be in this era of too long Netflix shows, too long HBO shows. I'm looking at you, outsider. All of it,
He's not wrong. There's the thing about how
it started out so good, and it's just like,
Can we also really add to the point that Watchmen had fantastic music? Thank you, Trent Reznor. And it wasn't available when that show was out, and I was so mad. As soon as it ended, though, they're like, here's volumes 1 through 3. Have a great day. And now...
The Trent Reznor's music was the Baby Yoda of Watchmen.
Yes. Oh, sweet infant child. I love you so much.
Personally, my comic referee, I'm going to overlook the fact that in no way, shape, or form is Watchmen an indie comic book. However, it needs to be discussed. Because,
and the fact that it did it after the comic and not the movie.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But no, it's not really an indie comic.
that made people read the graphic novel though, because there's a ton of people that I talked to when I was watching it, and I love that it's after the graphic novel ending, not the movie ending, which most people saw the movie because a lot of people don't like to read. Like,
and here we are.
Welcome to America.
It's a wordy graphic novel.
Well, it's a wordy comic.
It's a wordy comic.
For the record, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm sorry.
Not a graphic novel.
It's a trade
There's
paperback. It's a
graphics
wordy
in the
trade
novel.
paperback of a collection of comic books. Whatever. It's super wordy.
There is no difference between an issue of Watchmen and this comic book I'm holding in my hands right here. There is no difference. It is 12 issues of a comic book collected in trade paperback form.
If
The
you
graphic
put that in a
novel
book,
would be
it's a
something.
novel.
Graphic novel would be something designed to be longer than the format of the 22 pages that it is.
Yeah, let's clear.
Something, is from the indie rack. There's a lot of graphic novels over there. That is not a graphic novel. But people are afraid to say they like to read comic books, so they call it graphic novels. I blame Borders, quite frankly.
oh my, that's why they went under. It was
Really?
because
I
of you.
blame them. No, I blame them. Once they labeled it graphic novels, then people were not afraid to go into the section. When it's called comics and manga, people would be like, I don't want to go in that section.
How many
But let's
sacrifices
be
did you
real
make to have
here.
them go
It is
under?
a trade paperback collection of one of probably the greatest 12-issue miniseries of all time.
John Tracy, indie comic that's been made into a movie that you fucking love. And if you steal my pick, because we were talking about this before the show, it'll be really bad.
I'll go Lock and Key just because it's fresh on my mind.
Wow, all right, cool.
Yeah,
This is absolutely
Now,
great.
it's a great graphic novel. The TV series is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty close to it. I still enjoyed it. It's not as good as the comic book. It's by Joe Hill, who's
Absolutely.
son of Stephen King. They look exactly like each other.
The buzz on what I haven't heard is any buzz on it. I have not heard any compelling reason to like jump and go see it, which
Yeah,
is
you're the first
disappointing because I think
person
the book.
That's
Well, I
book
was just
is
doing it because,
great.
again, like I said, it's fresh on my mind and I didn't want to steal yours.
How does it compare to the people who have read Lock and Key in comic book form? Exactly that. It's a little bit darker and serious. How does it compare to the actual comic?
It's pretty good. I mean, they cut a lot of the kid out, Bodie, because in the comic, he's kind of irritating. He's a little kid. So I feel to make it more adult, they have teenagers. So it is more, like I said, it's like a teenager movie. So
Does his head open up?
yeah, no, they don't do that. They
What?
do
That's
they
the
do
best.
like a separate thing where they get the head. That I didn't like, but they do. Everybody who puts the head key in gets their like a door to another universe into their brain.
Oh,
So it kind of follows more like the Stephen King
yeah.
kind of how he does that with like what was that Dreamcatcher movie? It was-
Oh, the poop monsters?
yeah, but remember how they have like their headlights?
Oh, that's what the movie is.
I
Poop
know.
monsters.
I hate that
I didn't
movie
write
so-
it.
It's a terrible movie.
It's terrible.
You know how that one guy goes into like his head library? It's kind of like
Yeah.
that, but it's more fun.
Okay.
All right. Guess we'll give it a watch. What a raving review there.
Yeah, sorry. I was just trying to think of something. It's good. It's good.
I'll put it in my
Yeah.
Netflix queue, I guess.
I guess.
After Great British Bake Off.
So good.
Amanda, what's your favorite indie movie adaptation, TV adaptation?
Well, see, he's taking my
That's
favorite.
TV you can go with movies. Oh, I'm taking your favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're going first, so I just steal it from
So
you.
take it.
I could. He didn't tell me to not
Yeah.
steal
All right,
it.
go for it, go for it.
Well, then what are you gonna do?
No, do whatever you want, go for it.
You know what? Fortune favors the
See,
bold.
I was
Okay.
nice.
I got things up my sleeve, okay?
Okay.
You're all
Let
together.
him work.
No, let's talk about it, go for it.
I love Scott Pilgrim. I love it.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World?
Yes.
It's a great movie.
I love that movie because I think Kick-Ass came out not super far before or after it.
Relate. It was the same. Yeah.
And the difference between the two, because I was really excited for Kick-Ass, except it didn't get me the way that Scott Pilgrim did, solely for the fact that, like, in the beginning of Kick-Ass, it starts with some comic booky things, like you see in the little corner that little piece of like a panel like the next day, and then it just fell off, and they just go about doing their thing. Scott Pilgrim, on the other hand, though, they keep a lot of parts from the novel in the movie, and I love that. I love the colors they use,
Oh,
the little getting a life with his little comic book face, and I actually prefer the ending of the movie over the the comic book series.
Yes.
What's the difference?
They don't end up together. It's
Oh,
just kind of like an open-ended thing where they go off, and in the movie, it seems like it's gonna end that way, but then she's like, come with me. And they go off together, and that's a little bit happier, personally. So many good things about that movie that like really took it from this, put it on the screen, and it was done very, very well.
Super well. And as an editor, as somebody who edits things, right? The
What
show.
the editor does.
Yeah, you know, as somebody who's video editor,
Edit
probably one of the
things.
best. I don't know if that movie won any awards for anything
No,
as far as editing, right?
unfortunately.
I bet The editing in that movie is so brilliant.
It's so
the
good.
pace is so brilliant. Like the way
Isn't it directed by what's his name, Baby Driver?
Yes.
Or maybe
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright. Yeah, Edgar Wright directed it.
I think there's a signed Edgar Wright poster
Yeah.
here, 2 golden apple on this wall somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm
it's
not
over there.
surprised. I mean, he's brilliant.
Yeah, the music.
Oh, so good. I like that they kept it from there too. And that's the nice thing about the comics is that they not only have the lyrics, but it tells you how to play the songs. And
Yeah.
they just were like, we're gonna use this. Boom.
Beck, I think, adapted all the stuff, and then they had the song by Metric, that Black Sheep song, which is
Yes.
just amazing.
So good.
Like the movie,
Shout out to Brie Larson.
Everything about it is so good.
so good.
It's so good.
Captain America's in it.
Yeah.
And Brandon
Superman's in it.
All of everyone's in that movie.
For sure, like as far as adaptation goes, from this to the screen,
So good.
It's like Sin City level commitment
yeah, commitment.
to what this page is, to
Yeah.
what we want to put on the screen.
Not ashamed of what we are. We're
Yeah.
gonna commit to it and go full on with it as hard as we can.
For sure.
And really,
It's so good. It's entertaining. It's funny. It's got like a little bit of everything. I'm here for it.
yeah,
I like it.
I support this. Support.
That's why I stole it from you.
Good job.
That's my favorite one.
That was gonna be my pick, but yeah, no, absolutely. Joe.
Okay, so my choice for indie pick that was adapted to the screen and was amazing, The Rocketeer.
Yes.
Yeah, Rocketeer is really good.
Rocketeer.
You're
Look,
not wrong.
Dave
a good
Stevens,
one.
indie comic, love letter to the pulps, and he passed away a number of years ago. But The Rocketeer, the movie, is so underrated. Joe Johnston, the guy who directed Captain America: First Avenger, he did it. It's a Disney movie. It's a shame they never did sequels to it because it is such a brilliant movie and a really fun comic. If you dig that it's that whole like Indiana Jones vibe, like the World War II, like pre World War II.
Kinda like
Nazis were a menace, like
Yeah.
Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Nazis were on the horizon, but you don't have to deal with the actual war yet. Like it was that Nazism was in the air and all that
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and so you had these real concrete bad guys. Rocketeer's great, and the movie's amazing.
Dude, I was obsessed with this movie as a kid. Like, I kid you not. Like, call my mom up right now. Mom, back me up on this.
Bring her on the show.
Carlos' mom, come on the show.
I would
Come
only
on the
want-
show.
The only one who will
idea.
defend Pablo.
What's greater than the idea of a jetpack?
Or just being able to fly. right?
Just slap it on a jetpack and being able to fly. I mean, that is everything. That's every wish fulfillment dream, whether it's Iron Man or Superman or Rocketeer. Just Henry? No, what is this?
I don't remember his name. But you know what? What's good is they didn't try to.
Yeah,
They didn't try to.
No.
He's going in right now.
They didn't try to modernize this movie.
Cliff.
Cliff.
Yeah.
C-Core,
It was a period piece. It was really beautifully shot, and it was almost even shot like a movie that would have been shot in the period.
Yeah.
Like the way it was lit, everything about that movie.
Young
was,
Jennifer Connelly was fantastic in it.
yeah, she's
James
great.
Bond, Timothy Dalton. It's great. It's a fantastic movie, and comes from a very indie comic book.
It had a couple violent scenes too. Like
Yeah.
he kills that one guy. Remember, he breaks his back. Was he like a reporter?
Oh well, yeah, the guy that looked like Rondo Hatton,
Yeah.
the old actor who had the macromegalia. This guy, everything about it is great. Is it on Disney Plus?
It is on Disney
Yeah.
Plus. 'cause I
Is it
just
on
watched
Disney
that.
Plus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
And-
I know what someone's doing tomorrow with his children.
Tonight I'm going home.
You're gonna wake them up.
I know, I gotta watch it
Hey,
by myself.
babies, wake up.
Midnight. Kids, I gotta show you something. You're gonna remember this.
All right, so yeah, that's me, Rocketeer. Pablo, what about you?
Crap, right? Amanda stole my pick, but
Good.
yeah. But I have something that's new, and then I'm also excited about season 2.
Okay.
Have you guys watched The Boys yet?
Yes.
Episode 1.
So
We watched episode
good.
For
It's
The
great.
Boys.
So good.
If you guys have read the original comic, friend of the shop, if you guys have also seen Ryan's Burly Man, Derek
Robertson.
does the art for The Boys, and the comic is amazing. The art in the comic is amazing, and the show is just so compelling. And although it came out a while ago, it's super topical too, with a lot of the things happening right now with like the Me Too movement
And
whatnot.
fame culture.
Fame culture, absolutely. Like, it is so awesome. It's so well executed. The dude who plays basically
Homelander.
Superman, basically, right? Homelander. Like, he does such an amazing job of like being this super wholesome superhero and then turning a switch and being the scariest fucking guy on the planet.
Let's give it up for Elizabeth Shue.
that's great.
Showing up that first season. Fantastic.
I feel like the comic book might go a little too far And the show, I actually appreciated the stuff that they did tone down.
Yes. For sure. If you guys read the comic book,
I mean,
Is
the
there a
comic book,
non-spoiler way
I
to
literally
go into
like had to hide. Like I remember reading this like in the
Not
mall. Like
really.
I brought it to work one day and I was reading it. And I was like,
Well, do you guys know that the comic originally was supposed to be published by DC? And when they saw what they were going to be doing in that, they gently said, Garth, you can take this to another publisher, have it back.
Well,
And
yeah.
it was going to come out of Wildstorm because he was just going to have the Teen Titans all doing terrible things to each other.
I feel like Garth Ennis after Preacher, which was one of my favorite things ever.
Amazing.
He started to like go over the top. Like Boys is still readable, but then he went to Crossed. Where I was just like, I can't even read that.
Have
I
you
can't
read-
even look at it.
Did you read? He did a book with dogs that was like it was pretty much Cross told through the dog's perspective called Red Rover
I don't want to
Charlie.
see anything.
Oh my
with the
God.
Crossed universe.
I've never read it,
ever.
but I've heard of it.
Red Rover Charlie is basically like people lose their minds and kind of like have this like weird rage infected thing where they're like just killing each other, kind of rapture-esque, and the world's basically tearing itself apart. And there's 3 dogs that are like kind of like come together to be like, what the heck is going on here? What happened to like the feeders? I think
I'm
is
just
a
stick with Week 3.
Oh, right. V3 is also great.
Yeah.
V3 is also great, but
Anything out of the Cross universe, I'm just like, no.
I don't want
I don't know if
that.
I
it's the
think you
Cross
guys keep
universe.
that in the store for like profiling. Like anybody who picks up the Cross who like loves the Cross, you're like, you need to like report them to the FBI.
That's how I feel.
That was the Caligula comic book.
Oh, that too.
The
yeah.
Caligula comic book. You got put on a watch
Everything
list.
from Avatar for a while. I just like kind of go to their booth because I loved Garth Ennis, and I'd go to the Avatar booth and I'd start picking up their books and be like, ooh.
I will say this though. Even I read most of Garth's Cross stuff because I really love his work, and he's such a talented writer.
Wait, you read Cross?
I did. I'm on a watch list. Every time I move, I have to go door to door and go, "Hi, my name's Joe. I've read Cross." No, he is such
people to death with a horse cock, right?
he is such a
And
talented
his name is Horsecock.
writer that he does find a way to tell these human stories in it, and it's wrapped in grotesqueries.
As Garth Ennis, as somehow at some point he took it up.
Yeah, I felt like he was trying to outdo himself.
He pushed
He pushed it with
boundaries,
everyone, and then I felt he brought it back to perfect when he came back to Punisher.
Right. Well, that's the thing though. He's so talented. He'll then do war stories.
Yeah.
You know, and those
And those
like,
are amazing.
Yeah, the J for Jenny and the witches, the Night Witches story. Like those war stories are
That was
everything.
Battlefield, wasn't it?
It came under the Battlefields banner.
Yeah.
They're so amazing, and they're not gross. They're not this. They're not that. They're just really well told mostly World War II tales. By one of the most underrated, underrated, but just by a brilliant writer who also can write the hell out of a horsecock.
Yeah.
I wonder why that hasn't been turned into a show or movie yet, you know?
Cross is really gross.
Cross will never.
That'll never.
No, you don't. No, you don't need it.
No one needs that.
This is a good segue. What do we think needs to be turned into a TV show or a movie or be given that movie treatment that hasn't yet?
I'll start. Starts and ends for me with Southern Bastards.
Here was a man.
Jason Aaron writing about the Deep South. Think about crime boss in the Deep South, and there's no superpowers or anything. And he's the old football coach, the guy that's coached football there for 50 years.
I love
and
that.
He runs the town like every terrible Southern sheriff in every terrible Southern movie you've ever seen. And a guy who's in his 60s comes back to town to whip the sheriff's ass to clean up the town, Buford Buster style. It's awesome. That's all I'm going to say about it. And it does not end the way, the first 6 issues do not end the way you expect them to.
No.
And it is fantastic. There's been a big hiatus on it from a comic perspective because Jason Aaron's blown up and done a lot of great stuff with Mark. He's such a great writer. He's probably my favorite writer going today. But Southern Bastards, I need to see this movie.
I could probably see this being more of a movie.
A movie, yeah. It doesn't need to be a TV show.
Because
it's just an amazing movie. Like if Burt Reynolds were alive, he should be in it. He would be like the old sheriff.
That would be like a good Gran Torino.
There you go.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood kind of movie.
A less racist Gran Torino.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, still terribly racist.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not the hero, but the bad guys in it.
Yeah.
But I love the way the first 6 issues end.
Yeah.
Like that arc alone could be an excellent movie, minus like the one little kind of stinger, towards the end where you realize.
What I would want is trying to tell it like it would play out like the movie Psycho.
Yeah.
It would play out like the movie Psycho.
Yeah, it could.
You think it's Janet Leigh's movie,
No.
and then it changes.
Yeah, that could be really good.
And then another narrator swoops in and takes over the movie.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to see out of Southern Bastards.
You wouldn't want that for like the sequel. You wouldn't want
I don't need everything to be
No,
sequelized.
you're right.
I don't need everything.
I feel like you need the whole story.
I think maybe they've got 6 more issues of this left. Like I think maybe they're just loading up to end it, and then just give me one 2.5-hour movie, and just give me one Southern Bastards. I don't need sequels to it. That's it. All right, Pablo, what about you?
I want to jump in actually.
Okay, let's go.
Coming off of Southern Bastards to talk about a work that involves some Southern Bastards as well. Strange Fruit.
Yes.
By was it J.G. Jones and
Mark Waid.
Oh my gosh, so great.
So good. The gist, you have, it's like Superman, but he's black and grown and doesn't speak English at all.
And lands in
way better than
Mississippi
the Deep South.
at the wrong time in American history.
But it's post Civil War. It's like during the early 1900s, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love playing with the dynamic of like, okay, there's this black guy who has inherently all of this power and is in a space where he, based on his appearance, has very little power to no power. So I would love to see them take their time with it and make it like a limited series. And explore maybe like where he came from or what his story is, or them trying to figure out, or like maybe getting a way to communicate with him, because it's like he speaks in like math equations, I think.
Yeah,
God, I wouldn't be able to talk to him.
I'd be semi-fluent.
I'm so bad.
my only, I think, complaint about that comic is that I wanted them to explore him a little bit more. It was just a horror issue.
It was a very controversial comic.
Really,
both the creators you named are white dudes, and so they got a lot of flack for it. And J.G. Jones is a tremendously talented, yet takes them a while to draw. So by the time they got done with it, I think they were both like, all right, we're good. We set our piece on it, because it got a lot of that flack of, you're not of color, how can you dare write this story? And they were like,
the title.
It was a charged comic when it came out. So I think when they were done, they were just like, all right, we're good.
Well, you can say the same about old boy for the Watchmen, whose name I can't.
David Lindelof.
Yeah. Lindelof, right?
What you do is you flip it. You have, okay, these two white guys made this property. You have somebody like Michael B. Jordan with his production company take it on.
Oh, 100%.
He stars as
the writers room for Watchmen was super diverse.
Yeah, but Lindelof, I think his point, and I'm sorry not to interrupt you, was he was like, I don't know if this is my story to tell, but I think we should still kind of be able to like not be afraid or shy away from the subject. So I don't know why they. I
felt on the creator side of it, of like they had an amazing story to tell, and they told it. Look at the story for what it is. It's really told respectfully, and with great skill. But they got a fair amount of flack.
But Michael B. Jordan in that movie. Michael B. Jordan make this happen.
That's amazing.
Come on the show.
Amanda, come on. You're up next.
I really like this comic series called Wayward. Everything visually about it is so stunning. Like, it's very colorful. It has really good detail for it. Basically, a story about this girl who is half Japanese and half Irish.
Yeah.
And she moves from Ireland to Tokyo. She was living with her dad in Ireland, moves with mom back in Japan. And there's some like weird like supernatural stuff that starts going on that she gets looped into, and then she has some powers, starts meeting people that also have different powers and abilities to go ahead and fight this supernatural evil that's happening. I don't want to give too much stuff away, but there's some tragedy that happens in here that brings more of like her heritage in. But I really recommend anyone to read it.
Do you see it as a film or TV show or animated or live action?
With the technology that we have for like CG and stuff, I think if it's done right, like Scott Pilgrim, it would be fantastic. Not necessarily as a movie. I think it would be better as like a limited series or maybe a 2-season type show. But it's just a really beautifully like well-written
You've sold me on it.
book. It's so interesting.
Is it currently ongoing, or did they wrap it up?
I don't know if the last issue came out. I think they were wrapping up on, I think it's coming soon. I read it like earlier today when I was just brushing up a little bit. But it's been pitched though, like it's like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer almost.
Okay.
Like if you want to get an idea of what you could refer to as something like that. So if you liked Buffy.
Is it kind of samurai style though, or?
So they have some elements of it because it is in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Samurai-ish.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Disgusting. Well done.
But I mean, just like the open, like when I first, the thing that drew me to it was the cover of it. I was like, this looks really cute. What's this? And I open it. It's just got these like insanely colorful battle scenes, and like there's really good depth. Like I cried in the first few issues because of some of the things that went on in it. I don't want to give too much away, which is why I'm being so vague. But that's exactly why. Like,
Wayward.
I'd like for
Check
you,
out Wayward.
Wayward. God, it's so good. Read it. So good.
Wayward. John Tracy.
Ooh. I don't know. I was gonna go East of West because I love that more than anything, but it's so complex.
Hickman?
I don't think anybody could really do it.
If you're gonna do a Hickman comic, you're gonna do Manhattan Project.
No. That's too weird. That's too weird.
You're gonna do a Hickman comic. Just
I think I'm
put a camera
I'm gonna go the other way though. I'm gonna go Ladykiller because I think that's perfect for a TV show. It's a 1960s like house mom who's also an assassin on the side.
That sounds
It's a
amazing.
good book.
Awesome.
Sounds
Yeah,
like my dream job.
It's either 50s or 60s. I don't know the exact time period.
It's a good
but
book, yeah.
No, it's great. Joelle Jones does the art and the
she's
writing on it.
fantastic,
So yeah, you don't see a lot of anybody who's a writer and an artist, but a female writer artist with that quality of art is amazing.
Who would star in this? And any answer that's not Charlize Theron is wrong.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't think though, because she already did Atomic Blonde, it would be too.
No, it's
She would never do too much of being a
back in the day,
badass woman assassin.
She also
That's
did
true.
Aeon Flux.
She could.
Yeah, she's
Mad
done
Max,
everything
Fury
though. I don't
Road,
know.
like she's got
Charlize can do it.
Bad bitch.
Yeah.
She can do whatever
That's
she
true.
wants.
My
people in space.
pick. I don't know if we can. Is the Dark Horse section still over here somewhere? I don't know.
No, we banished it. It's on Dark Horse anyway.
It's this book called Buzzkill.
Still there.
I think it was like 4 issues,
Yeah.
right? And then compiled into a trade. It's about a superhero that gets all his superpowers from drugs and alcohol.
That sounds like me.
And it opens. It's you actually. No, but it opens up with him in rehab because his life as being a superhero has basically ruined his life, and it's also about like kind of dealing with addiction and kind of how it can be almost a genetic thing. Kind of like his father hadn't, and I think that's the kind of like the main bad guy in it too is his father, and it kind of deals with addiction. It's a beautiful story, kind of about redemption as well, through like recovering through the disease that is
Addiction. I second that. It's a great. That feels really cool.
It could potentially be, I think, like an HBO show. Or, I mean, even if it's just a movie, it'd be...
So he has to do the drugs to have the superpower?
Yeah. So how do you... It's kind of like with the Jane Foster and the Hammer thing of like, I have cancer, and the only way to get healthy is to not turn into Thor, but I need to turn into Thor. Well, if I do drugs, I can be a superhero and help people, but if I do these drugs and alcohol, then I'm an addict and my life gets ruined. Wow.
Wasn't that like
how do I
heroin?
reconcile
Did the guy have to do like heroin to paint the future?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this heroin, but I have to.
Do they refer to the father as Bad Daddy? Because if not, they're missing a major mark.
No.
Hey, Bad Daddy.
That's our closing statement right there. Thanks for tuning in to Here's the Issue, where we have deep thoughts about shallow things. If you like this episode, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon so you can get a notification anytime we have a new episode. Buy this golden apple hat. Follow me at Pablo Effin Persona everywhere.
Follow me at JoeonJoePod.
VondexterM.
Amanda PartyPoison.
I forget my Instagram.
JT
my
underscore.
_1981 or 8.
You.
One of the two. You
Buy
got
the
it.
golden apple hat. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, what's your issue?